latest international sports and entertainment news right here on GTR.
As the afternoon news on Ghana Talks Radio, and I welcome you to it. My name is Sandra. Asante. Top stories. Speaker refers the 3 MPs to Privileges Committee. Minority hint of challenging decision. JES has revealed about 505,000 JHS graduates has been placed in various second cycle schools. On the international front, Western leaders to impose further sanctions on Russia. There's some more stories after the break.
Pool party! Easter Monday, take over Ghana Talks Radio and the Koforidia Pool Party. The Easter Monday Takeover Edition. A bustle, our bedtime hotel on the 18th of April 2022. Artists on the bill: Muntaka Mubarak, Tommy Yoga, Another Level, Danger Boy, Catke, Mr. G, Kwaku Mickey, Edges Blade, Anna Johnny K, MC Kin Kwaku Benson, DJs on the bill, DJ Chan, and a DJ Bobby Rich. After party no Air Bustle, right at Casa Bar and Grill, opposite the Bedtime Hotel. Rate 30 cool Ghana cities. Nenso Umetimiato tickets for 2 at 50 Ghana City from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Activities at Bekoso Pool Party na say a dance competition, giveaways, raffle draw, and a photography. Won't bet tickets and answer reservations are fresh 0202-544-614. Tickets are available
at Bright FM, Eastern FM, Freedom FM, Sunrise FM, Front Decks, and the Bedtime Hotel. Ubenya Binsuo.
Tickets.ghanatalksradio.com. Ubeti the Momo and answer credit card. Ato sponsors BP Superfine Bakery, Tom's Metal Corporation, and a GTR Sound. Easter Monday way, the whole Ghana Air Party, our Koforidia Pool Party. The Easter Monday Takeover.
You're most welcome back from the break to our first story. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has referred 3 members of the House to the Privileges Committee for absenting themselves for more than 15 days without permission in violation of Article 97(1)(c) of the 1992 Constitution. They are Ascent Central Member Kennedy Ejipon, Sarah Adwoa Safoas for Jome Kwabenya, and Ayawaso Central Member Henry Korte. According to the Speaker of Parliament, the table office has established that the trio, or members of the New Patriotic Party Firm Majority Caucus, has absented themselves for more than 15 sittings of the House during this meeting, which commenced on January 25th, 2022. Speaker Bagbin.
Honorable members have so far absented themselves in this meeting for more than 15 sitting days without permission, as recorded in the votes and proceedings. And I'll proceed to mention the names of the 3 members. The first is Honorable Sarah Adwoa Safoas. The second is Honorable Henry Korte. And the third is Honorable Kennedy Ohene Ajapon. Consequently, as is my understanding of the provisions of Article 97(1)(c) and Order 16(1) of the Standing Orders of Parliament, and the decision of the Court of Appeal in the case of Professor Stephen Kweku Asare and the Attorney General and 3 others, I hereby refer
GTR News
to the Committee of Privileges for consideration and report to the House. Since today is the last sitting day of the meeting, I refer it to the committee, and I expect that the committee will submit its report 2 weeks after the House.
The referral, however, did not go without resistance from some members of the majority disagreeing, and Minority Chief Whip and MP for Asasawase, Muntaka Mubarak, indicating that he would come with a substantive motion to challenge same.
I heard you said, you yourself alluded to the fact that members of Parliament could raise matter that will refer to privileges civil society will equally do same. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect to your office, I disagree with you vehemently when you, Mr. Speaker, want to do that yourself. Because it has to be a member of parliament who has to do that according to our rules. Mr.
Honorable member, read the standing order again.
Mr. Speaker, I will be grateful to listen.
Read the standing order again.
Mr. Speaker, it will be good to listen to me. When I'm done, you have the privilege to make your
Minority Chief Whip. Read the standing orders again.
Mr. Speaker, I have read what I want to read, and I've stopped where I want to stop.
Honorable member,
you listen to me, and when you hear me, Mr. Speaker, you have to hear me first.
will you resume your seat?
Mr. Speaker, you have to hear me first.
Will you resume your seat?
Mr. Speaker, we heard you in silence. Please. Mr. Speaker, we heard you in silence. Mr. Speaker, it is only fair that you hear us, and when we are done, after the ruling and the decision to be taken, Mr. Speaker, is absolutely yours. But to listen to us, Mr. Speaker, you must listen to us. And Mr. Speaker, when you are making reference to the ruling of the appeal court, Mr. Speaker, the interesting thing that you left out, and I draw your attention to this, is that when that appeal court made that ruling, it concluded with this. After the court has said that the seat will be declared automatically, it went ahead to say that under the 1992 Constitution, however, it is the High Court which can declare a member of Parliament seats as vacant without providing any reasons or legal basis for the accession. More particularly, when the provisions in question do not either explicitly or impliedly rope in the High Court. This is what the appeal court did. So, Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect, we agree, you made a statement, but your conclusion, Mr. Speaker, then their colleagues, as we sit in this chamber, is this. If we allow speakers to take petition from outsiders, and so motu with petition from outsiders to defer members of parliament to privileges, colleagues will be doing ourselves the greatest disservice. Because we will one day get a dictator speaker who will simply take statements from outsiders and begin to penalize individual members of parliament. It is on this basis that I call on all of us that to resist the attempt by Mr. Speaker to refer our colleagues to the privileges. And if there is justification, let us get one of us as member of parliament who is convinced that our colleagues need to go to privileges to do that and not to allow speakers to do this. Because today we may have a speaker that we may think will be unbiased. If we allow this to stand, it will become precedent, and tomorrow it may hurt each and every one of us. And it is on that basis that I stand to say, Mr. Speaker, I want to come properly under Order 93.5 to say this is your decision to refer our colleagues to the privileges.
To our next story, political speculations have been rife concerning the reasons why the Jamaica Member of Parliament, Adwoa Safoas, has been absent from Parliament for an extended period of time. The Minority Chief Whip says her chief reasons has got to do with her children. Speaking in an interview, Muntaka Mubarak revealed that Adwoa Safoas' children are at risk of being separated from their mother by the Americas Social Welfare Dept. This explanation, he said, was contained in a letter she wrote to the Speaker, seeking a leave of absence after her party leadership in Parliament has refused to recommend her leave of absence to the Speaker. According to him, even though he understands the need for truant members of Parliament to be sent to the Privileges Committee, he believes the case of Adwoa Safoas is one of an unfair treatment. He intends to challenge Speaker's motion to refer Adwoa Safoas and the two other MPs to the Privileges Committee so moto. According to the Minority Whip, the Speaker did not go through the due process.
I think that there's a lot of unfair treatment to the lady.
Why do you say that?
I'm reliably informed that she wrote leave of absence and her leadership refused to recommend it to Speaker.
Okay, Chairman Sabonsu told me that she applied for an additional 20 days that the speaker rejected.
Listen, she wrote a leave of absence and then she traveled, citing her children and challenges. And the leadership, because they needed her at all costs, refused to recommend. So she noticed along the line that she's constantly being absent. So now she wrote a letter with another leave of absence directed to Mr. Speaker to remind her, Mr. Speaker, I'm supposed to seek permission from you, but the rules of this house is such that, like he himself stated today, I have to pass it through my leadership. I have noticed that my leadership have consistently refused to recommend my leave of absence. So I'm writing directly to you.
So she bypassed her leadership?
Yeah, because she has done one with the leadership, and the leadership have refused to recommend. Now she writes this and stating this in the letter to Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, having gotten this, I cannot judge the thinking of Mr. Speaker. Milited it back to her leadership. The same leaders that have refused to recommend her leave of absence, Speaker referred this matter to her leadership. And what the majority leader simply said was that, I'm not aware. And based on that, Speaker refuses to grant her leave of absence. The reason I'm saying unfair to both is that, you see, if I make a claim and you don't use your good office to investigate that, but you refer my application back to the same group of people that have refused to grant my leave of absence. If I were Mr. Speaker, to be fair, I would have then mandated that majority leader, so majority whip, can you recommend, based on this complaint, to me for the leave of absence to be granted? Because remember, she has filled another leave of absence,
complaining about
what the leadership did. So to treat her fairly, you, Mr. Speaker, having gotten this background, you will have recommended to the leadership to recommend for her leave of absence in order not to keep them on the blind.
Still local stories. An 11-year-old girl has died after a fire gutted a house at Meduma in the Kwari East municipality of the Ashanti region on Tuesday. Properties running into thousands of cities were destroyed in the incident, which happened about 1:30 p.m. Fire officers, after bringing the situation under control, handed over the body of the girl to the police, which has been deposited at the morgue. Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, DR Peter Adai, who narrated the incident, says investigations have commenced to ascertain the cause of the fire. The Ghana Education Service GES says it has replaced about 505,000 junior high school JHS leavers into various second cycle institutions since the computerized school placement and self-placement exercises began. This figure represents approximately 88.6% of about 570,000 students who are expected to be placed this year after their successful completion of the Basic Education Certificate Examination, that is the BECE. In an interview on Tuesday, the Director General of the GES said that the process has run smoothly so far. Professor Akwasi Opoku-Amankwa, however, stated that more is being done to correct the anomalies that have been reported to the service. Many of them say to the National Resolution Center at the NAT Hall on Tuesday to get their concerns resolved. However, many who had placed their complaint as far as the week goes are yet to receive any response. But Professor Opoku-Amankwa says the service is putting more interventions in place to promptly address all such challenges.
So far it's been good. Overall, there were about 570,000 students that were to be placed. And as we speak now, about 505,000 of them have been placed. But those who have enrolled, I think it's something about half of that number, because the enrollment has actually started with the school reopening. So as we go along, but we don't expect that we wouldn't have issues. We expect that we will continue to have issues. And it is just because we don't have enough space in each school that people subscribe, especially the schools that people subscribe a lot. We don't have enough space to take all the people who subscribed and duly qualify. So if you take a school like, let's say, Achimota, whilst we can take maybe 1,002 or thereabout, you may get about 6,000 people who subscribe to Achimota, maybe 2,000 of them duly qualified to go in there. So as far as you have that issue, every year people will say, I didn't get my school and I have been put here, I have been put there. That is why we continue to make a few changes here and there, do reviews. Ghanaians say we should do review. We do the reviews every day and every time. Every year when we finish our placement, we do the review. So every year we improve on it. This year, for example, we gave the students the opportunity to choose 6 schools. Last year, it was 5 schools. The year before, it was 4 schools. Some years, it was 3 schools. It's all a way of getting as many students as possible to go into the schools of their choices. Because people go to schools based on choices, you will always have situations where people will come and complain or lament and then feel frustrated because they didn't get their choice. At the end of the placement system, we'll have to review and see how well it helped us to solve the issue of increasing the number of placement and things like that. If it did, then we will continue. If it didn't, we look at why it didn't work for us and then what we can do.
Still on the afternoon news on Ghana Talks Radio, we focus on business. Now, the Association of E-Commerce Ghana has begun a move to get all online service providers and businesses certified with appropriate trust marks. These marks are expected to indicate whether a particular online site is credible to transact business or otherwise. Speaking at the Media Africa Technovate Awards in Accra, Executive Director at the Association of E-Commerce, Paul Asino, disclosed that the move is to help clean the online business space from scammers who take advantage of the system to dupe online shoppers. This follows the multiple report of online fraudsters and scammers using the various platforms to dupe innocent clients through some advertising means. Paul Asino believes that this initiative will be in collaboration with relevant regulators and some stakeholders in the digital space. The Chief Executive Officer CEO of the Microfinance and Small Loans Center, MASCLOC, Hajia Abibat Shani Muhammad Zakaria, has refuted claims that facility under the scheme are provided based on political parties' affiliations. She insists applicants are considered solely based on merit. MASCLOC provides micro and small loans for startup and small businesses with fast, easy and accessible microcredit and small loans to grow and expand their businesses as well as to enhance job and wealth creation. However, there are allegations that authorities circumvent the processes of cronies to the detriment of those in real need, a situation that worsen non-payment of the loans. Hatia Abibat Shani Muhammad Zakaria, speaking to the media, debunked these assertions, explaining that acquiring MASCLOC loan is transparent.
At MASCLOC, as you rightly mentioned, is Microfinance and Small Loan Center, and we are under the Office of the President. It was established in the year 2006 by then President J. Kufuor. During that time, the issue on poverty reduction was very high, to the extent that within President Kufuor's first term, we went HIPIC. So MASCLOC was set up to create jobs, wealth creation, and then for the poor. In Ghana, about 70% of the people are in the informal sector, and ordinarily they find it very difficult accessing our traditional banks. So MASCLOC was a way to assist those people to also grow their businesses and to empower their lives. Some of the things can be regulated. The savings and loans companies going around, some of them, as you rightly, maybe you can recollect that some few years back, it was realized that some of them were not even properly registered. But with government takes care of the citizens, and those people are in the private sector. So it's important for government to find something for their citizens. And for that matter, MASCLOC can serve the people better than those ones. Always been the misconception.
And now it's proven because
people always say that MASCLOC depends on the party in government that we give facilities to. But I think that MASCLOC was set up for Ghanaians, and once you are a Ghanaian citizen from 18 years to 65 years with a sound mind, you qualify to access. When people come here to apply for loans, we don't really ask for party ID cards, but what we ask for is a national ID card.
Officially you don't, but unofficially you do. Okay, let's talk about duplicity of roles. We have MASCLOC, we have the Youth Enterprise Agency.
On the international front, an 83-year-old American nun has been kidnapped in Burkina Faso. The bishop of the Northern Kaya Diocese said armed men took her from the nunnery where they vandalized rooms and sabotaged a vehicle. The nun's sister, Sulaine Tyson, has served in the parish since October 2014. As such, operation is underway in the area bordering the Sheeran province, where attacks on civilians have increased and where armed groups are active. Several Westerners have been adopted by Islamist militants in the northern Burkina Faso and other parts of the Sahel in recent years. Fresh fighting broke out on Wednesday in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's days after rebels has declared a unilateral ceasefire to make way for talks with the government. In the last few days, about 6,000 refugees who had returned home in DR Congo have fled back to neighboring Uganda. Sources says government forces are fighting to retake villages in the Rashuru area in the North Kivu province that are currently occupied by 23 rebels. A resident of the border town Bunagana told the BBC that they could hear heavy weapons in distance. Regional leaders were expected to meet this week over negotiations between government and rebels. Lawmakers in Oklahoma have passed a bill that will impose a near-total ban on abortions in the state. The bill will criminalize performing an abortion in almost all cases, except where it could save the life of a pregnant woman in a medical emergency. Medical professionals convicted under the laws face fines up to $100,000, that is 76,505 euros, and 10 years in prison. It comes as the U.S. Supreme Court waives a case that could overturn abortion rights across the U.S. last year. Oklahoma's House of Representatives, in which Republicans hold a supermajority, voted to send the bill to the governor's office by 70 votes to 14. The state's governor, Kevin Staines, will be presented with a bill for his approval. The Republican has already committed to signing into law any legislation that restricts abortion rights. Western leaders are set to announce a further set of sanctions against Russia on Wednesday, the U.S. has said. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the measures will target Russian financial and state-owned bodies, as well as some officials and oligarchs. Ms. Psaki said the move will hold accountable the Russian kleptocracy that funds and supports Putin's war. Calls for further sanctions have grown in recent days amid allegations of Russian atrocities in Bucha. The town's mayor told the news on Tuesday night that Russian forces had killed around 320 civilians during the occupation of the town, while the discovery of mass graves have caused outrage in Western capitals. To some entertainment story, Ed Sheeran has won a High Court copyright battle over his 2017 hit Shape of You. A judge ruled on Wednesday that the singer-songwriter not plagiarized the 2015 song All White by Sammy Chokri. Chokri, a Grammy artist who performed under the name of Sammy Sweater's, claimed All I Hook in Ed Sheeran's track was strangely similar to an All White refrain in his own track. After the ruling, Sheeran said such baseless claims are way too common. In a video on social media, he said that it's a now quarter where a claim is made with the idea that the settlement will be cheaper than taking it to court, even there is no basis for the claim. He added that it's really damaging to the songwriting industry. There is only so many notes and very few chords used in pop music. Thank you so much for tuning in to the afternoon news on Ghana Talks Radio. This is where Adwoa Safoas. You can log on to our website, www.ghanatalksradio.com, for more news updates. My name is Adwoa Safoas. Stay tuned for the spotted bit. Enjoy your afternoon.